The Aloha Hour with Johny and Dewey.
All right.
Makes me laugh every time.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. As usual, we have a very special guest. I'm going to try to introduce him. He is the most beloved and well-known weatherman in the state of Hawaii, maybe in the history of the state. He is the host of Pacific Pulse and Cheap Eats. He is a diehard surfer, a father, and a true ambassador of Aloha, and a great friend. Thank you for being here, Guy Hagi.
Yeah, Jonathan Dewey. I think I know the guy that did the Chihu for you guys. Sounds very familiar.
How you been?
I've been well. Things are going good. We had a very quiet hurricane season, so not too much stress aside from Hurricane Douglas, and aside from the pandemic, things are going good.
Before we're going to start, if you already mentioned that, I have to touch that topic. You know that your video about that Hurricane Douglas went viral.
Isn't that cool?
That was
cool?
insane. There was not even one person that didn't watch it. It was so funny.
So that.
And how can you flip on the pigeon that like boom boom?
You know what? That's just how it is when you grow up here. Pigeon is like first and foremost. In fact, there's a battle in my head every time I'm doing a weather forecast to try to keep the pigeon from jumping out at the wrong time. There's always subject-verb agreement battles going on in my head and all that. But yeah, I mean, that was one of the things. My daughter is the one that posts from my Instagram. I'm not allowed to. She says, I don't know how to post the proper stuff. It's a generational thing, I guess.
Censorship.
But we were going to surf. I was taking her to go surf. She goes, you need to post something about the hurricane and make it funny. I mean, I don't make it funny. Well, talk pigeon then. I go, all right. And if you're forced to talk pigeon, it's kind of weird to me, right? Because after years and years of my mom just grilling me. So but I'm very flattered that people checked it out, and made even more videos out of it.
Oh man,
the guy made a remix and all that. So it's very flattering that people do stuff like that. Yeah.
It's crazy how things changed, right? As far as you do one thing and suddenly thousands and thousands of Hawaiian people saw your skit, so to speak, and were blown away. It's crazy how fast it goes.
Yeah, but that's the world we live in now, right? And it's kind of scary because if you do something really bad, it goes viral in the worst way ever, right? Yeah. So I'm kind of glad that social media wasn't around during my younger, more Kamohe days, so to speak. Not that I did anything, but who knows?
Hey, is it true that this year is El Niño?
La Niña.
La Niña, because what's the difference between El Niño?
Okay, so the difference being the temperature of the water around the equator.
Right.
Okay, so whenever we have a La Niña year like we are now, that means the temperature of the water around the equator in the Pacific is actually cooler.
Wow,
okay?
I thought it was hotter.
It's the other way around for the Atlantic. So in a La Niña year, we generally have fewer storms like we had this year. We had very few storms, but it only takes one, right?
Right.
Unlike the Atlantic, which had a record-breaking amount of storms, right? They had like 30, right? Like 12 made landfall, something crazy. So it was very bad for them, very good for us. It's always that way, almost always that way. El Nino, on the other hand, is the other way, when the water around the Pacific equator is actually hotter and warmer, which means more cyclone activity. For us, fewer cyclones, fewer hurricanes and tropical storms for the Atlantic. But it's strange, too, because El Nino also means more storms in the wintertime farther north from us. Not closer to us, farther north. And that's why normally, not every time, but as a matter of rule, normally you can expect more giant swells in an El Nino year.
Right.
What was it, 2016, when it was crazy? Right. Jaws was every week during the wintertime.
Right.
We had the Eddy during the 2016 year. And so this year, La Nina, which means better for us, but also going to mean a wetter winter.
Wow.
Okay. A wetter winter.
Are we going to get more variable winds like we've been experiencing like the beginning of the winter, which is kind of strange for us, I think.
It's hard to say for sure, but the trend is for us to have, we're heading towards fewer trade wind days.
Right.
And more light and variable trade wind days.
Ooh, so conditions are going to be good.
Yeah, in the selfish picture for us, the small term picture is better for us in terms of surf conditions.
Right.
But in terms of the overall weather pattern, fewer trade winds also mean hotter temperatures, which is not good,
Right.
and fewer showers, which is also not good, right? We need our fair share of showers to keep our whole aina going, right? The
Right,
whole
right.
cycle, the water cycle for us has to work, right? So we need those trade winds to push in those windward and mauka showers, helping the water table, helping the forest, and helping keep us a little bit cooler.
It's so funny because, as long as I can remember, there's two swell that I remember as long as I can remember. Mother Day swell, South swell, a week before, a week after, right? The first winter giant swell is always around Thanksgiving.
Right.
And this year, it actually came a little late, right?
Yeah. Those
and
things,
boy,
but-
incredible
Yeah,
swell.
and also Dewey, being a South Shore guy, the last couple summers have extended well beyond August.
Yeah.
We've been surfing in town, like the last couple summers lasted well past October. We're talking consistent swells. Even this summer went a little bit longer.
Right.
So the whole thing is changing. So that's why the Triple Crown over the last few years was having trouble with the pipeline event having good waves. But the backdoor shootout, which was 3 weeks
Incredible.
later,
Yeah.
always better because the
Yeah.
winter was getting later. It's just a, armchair quarterback kind of thing, not really from a climatologist's point of view, but just from a surfer's perspective, the season's totally changing. It's like the calendar's been off by a day, and all of a sudden it's now off, by like 2 months or whatever.
So we're not going to see as many big swell this year as we did last year. That's what you were saying.
Supposedly, but also, but see, as a general thumb, that's what you think. But we're talking about just last week, Wednesday.
Oh, my
Right?
God.
Right? Last week, Wednesday.
Shore.
Yeah. The North Shore was incredible, right? The
Yeah.
outer Reef. Did you see Himalayas? Himalayas was incredible. Mavericks a couple days later, incredible.
Right.
And the winds were great. We had one day where Jaws was incredible.
Right.
One day Waimea was incredible. And then Mavericks had, I think, 2 or 3 days.
Right.
So
Holy crap. I'm so sorry.
that's okay.
Hey, my
at least
apologies.
you're not on the news. I've seen it happen during a newscast where the anchor's phone goes off, and she's got to talk right through the phone. She's got to go through the read, and the audio guy's going because he can't squelch.
Yeah, that was my first. All right. Okay, so it sounds like for us surfers, and I'm being super selfish with you right now because it's like, oh crap.
No, I love
So,
it.
yeah.
He talks about weather based on waves, heights,
know.
winds. It's incredible. It's
Yeah,
incredible.
and that came by.
That's why people love you. I think this is part how you spark the love for you. That's why you're special. You're different because you give the local community what they really want to know. Because we have sun every day
Yeah.
and we have rain every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
They know those two things. You're not going to surprise them with that.
Yeah.
They want to know the real deal. Can I go surf?
Yeah.
Where I going to go surf?
Yeah.
I cannot waste my time. I got to do it before work, after work, and so on and so forth. So that's amazing.
So Jonathan, here's what happens. So when I did my first weather forecast, I was already done with a long career in surf. That's where I met Dewey. I was in the surf industry for like upwards of 25 years. But after that, in my next reincarnation, I did weather. And my grandma, God rest her soul, she passed away a long time ago, but she was in her 90s and she saw me do the weather. She said, "Oh, Grandma, what do you think? I was on TV, I did the weather." She goes, "You look really good. And you sounded really, really smart, but you didn't tell me it was going to rain at my house." Because I did the high pressure, low pressure, anticyclonic vorticity, and all this stuff, and then I thought I sounded really smart, and I got the message across. My grandma goes, "No, you didn't tell me it was going to rain."
Did grandma still live in Liliha?
No. She used to.
Okay.
She used to.
Okay.
So then that kind of made me figure out that it's all about communication, right? So it's who are you communicating to? Are you giving them a message they can understand and make use of?
Yeah.
So that's kind of been my mantra since that day. But, good take your grandma, right, to straighten you out.
And one of the funny thing is in our research, and we read a little bit about you and all kind of stuff that you did. And one of the interviews, you said that your mom said you have a face for radio.
Yeah, my mom.
She wasn't convinced
my
with
mom
the TV.
My mom can be brutally honest, but that's something only your mom can tell you, right? I think she was being part facetious and sarcastic at the same time. But she was going, "What? Why you live in the surf industry? And why are you going from radio to TV? You have the perfect face for radio." And she walks away. I think she knew that was the standard joke for radio people.
That's epic. Well, tell us a little bit for the people that don't know you and didn't grow up with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you were a triathlete. You were doing.
Yeah. So born and raised here. One of 4 kids. Number 2 of 4, 3 boys, 1 girl. So we grew up fishing, and then started surfing. And once we started surfing, we put fishing on the side. So this is 3 boys. The girl was still very young. So we just started. We were surfing.
So you and your brothers.
Yeah,
every
me and my
day.
brothers, and we were surfing in town, right? Because I went to McKinley. So we were surfing in town, and my dad, who was working out at the refinery, which is way out in Campbell. We lived in town now, way out in Campbell. He'd come home every day, load up the truck, even though he had a long day. Load up the truck with us and the neighborhood kids, and he'd take us to surf in town, while he would just walk around the park or hit the tennis ball and just cruise around, and just knowing that that's what we wanted to do. And back then, he just started golfing. Started golfing late in life, and his friends were going, "Hey, when you gonna golf? When you gonna golf with us on the weekends?" I distinctly remember him saying that, "No, I'm gonna wait till my kids are off and on their own. Right now, they need me to take them to the beach." And every day he took them to the beach, big, flat, whatever. And we never go to the country, right? We just were starting out until we got our licenses, and then
Chihuahuas or Ala Moana?
No, it's Ala Moana.
Ala Moana.
So we surf concessions courts in those areas. So that was a fatherly dedication that I learned from him. Just without just that lesson that you never figure out it's a lesson until it's done. Right?
Yeah.
So then from there, I went to work for Town and Country, and they had only one store. Okay, only one store.
Guavaline!
Yeah, no, one store, which was out in Aiea next to the Safeway.
Oh.
This is already a second store. They had closed down the old store, which was this old rundown place on Cam Highway. So I was working at that one store. They just started doing some international stuff, right? Just licensing, but they only had one store. The surf industry was still very young. We're talking 1979, 1980, somewhere thereabouts. And then somebody came in after I was working there a while. He came in as a rep, and he said, "You know what? I need help. Can you come help me with my repping business?" Guy Steve Cranston. And in fact, I just talked to him today. We're really good friends with Dewey too. So I was working for him and working with helping distribute Rip Curl wetsuits, some leashes from Australia named Ballin, rainbow fins, a whole catalog of things to go into the surf shops. But remember, Locomotion had one store, HIC had one store, Town and Country had one store. The surf industry was not what it is today or what it was to become. So from there, I attended UH, and then things were going so well, I went, screw UH. Yeah, I took some marketing, took some journalism, and I said, nah, that's it. And then while I was at Town and Country, though, they had a radio surf report agreement with one radio station. So the professionals that they had on the team would call, and they would call in the radio surf report, right? They would have these people around the island formulate a surf report, call it in. But you had to call in at 7 a.m., 7 days a week. Professional surfers and the way that they are and the schedule that they keep and the way their conception of time and deadlines didn't line up with the radio business. So the radio guys were kind of upset, going, "You guys don't call in on time. Like, we need the radio surf report at 7 o'clock when we do our news and stuff, news and sports at 7:10. You need to call at 7." And the top professionals that we had, they couldn't do it. I mean, they're having fun with it every now and then. So Craig said, "Guy, can you do it?" I said, Sure. So I took it over, and as a 18-year-old kid, to get your name on the radio, like every half hour, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
So that went on for 20 years. I was doing that radio surf report thing. This is before TV now. So that obviously gained an audience, right? Because the surfers were going, "Oh, what's the surf report?" Because there was no internet back then.
Yeah.
There was no TV. Even the TV weather people wouldn't cover surf at all. They didn't. The surf industry wasn't even a thing yet, right? So as the surf industry grew, I kept on doing the surf report. There was only 3 guys doing it at the time, and then I still did it while I just started doing TV is when I kind of stopped off. So during those years of doing the surf marketing, the surf industry went crazy, right? Locomotion turned into this. Locomotion HIC Town and Country turned into multinational companies distributing around the world. Surfboard sales went crazy. Quicksilver, Billabong, Gotcha were all multi-million-dollar companies by this point. And so I rode the surf wave through that time. So that was pretty fun, right, Dewey?
Yeah, in a million years, Guy, can you imagine the industry went from that to what it is today?
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm so blown away that I can't, I could not, if somebody tell us today, this is the industry, you would never believe them, right? I mean, back then, everyone dripped salt.
Yeah.
Every brand, there was a surfer on the inside from Micah Thompson, some Bob, all the brands, right?
Yeah.
And then that was it. That was like these were surfers just chasing their dreams, and they were living their life, and they were actually fulfilling surfer dreams in Hawaii. You know? And that was happening. But now you look at today, like beside this lot, there's no one else that actually surf anymore. That owns all by bankers and investors,
Yeah.
And in a million years, I never thought that. It was so almost heartbroken, I'm excited to see what's going to happen in the next 10 years. I think there's got to be a new beginning, a new birth, I'm waiting for that, because you and I seen so many up and down that, remember skate come in and totally revolutionized, brought surf cool again, but I'm still waiting for that,
Yeah, I think we're on the precipice of, we've already seen the collapse of the biggest surf brands, right?
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother discussion, but you're right. So I did that. I rode that wave. It went really well, but it also being a sales rep, you go through the ups and downs, right? Remember, like right now, if you're a sales rep today in the surf industry, boy, you're dying on the bus, right? You're dying, right? Aside from surfboards and hard goods, clothes aren't selling. The stores are barely open.
Yeah.
Waikiki just opened up a little while ago.
Right.
But we went through those as well. Remember the Gulf War?
Yes.
Waikiki was as dead as it is today. Right?
No way.
Oh, the Gulf War killed the business, right? And a couple other things. So we went through that. So being that inconsistency, I went, well, I need something, just kind of riding the wave of the surf up and down, and then still doing the surf report. And then what I didn't realize was that I had an audience, that I had followers and I had an identity. I never thought about it. I just thought, but Guy Hagi was associated with surf. You couldn't discern the two, right? So a guy from KITV that I surf with, Sunny Ahuna, cameraman, great surfer by the way, longtime cameraman, said, "Hey Guy, because of what's going on, personnel shifts, people going to other stations, we need a weekend weather reporter. What do you think, man?" And I went, shit, I don't know. I'd never been on TV. I don't know. Figured I could formulate 2 minutes and mess it up as good as anybody else.
And how old were you then?
So I was
mid-30s?
25 years ago. So
oh, shit.
yeah.
35.
But don't forget, I got into TV pretty late. This was after 25 years in the surf industry.
Yeah.
So I went to the audition, and the guy hired me on the spot. I went, oh crap, now what?
No, it's real.
Yeah, because all of a sudden, well, as a surfer, you're keenly aware of the weather, right? You're keenly aware of the wind, what it's doing, of the storms, and what the storms affect on the surf's going to be in particular. But I had to study a little bit more to how it's going to affect the farmer, how it's going to affect the tourist, how it's going to affect the businessman, how it's going to affect the driver. So I had to study the basics, and some guys who were really nice at the National Weather Service. This guy, Hans Rosendahl, who was the original surf forecaster guy, and he's long since retired. Yeah, Hans was the man. He don't surf, German accent, everything, but man, he's incredible. So he helped us out. Bernie Baker up in the North Shore.
Of course.
I mean, all the people that helped us out with weather, they kind of held my hand with regard to weather because I knew all about the surf thing already, having done it for 20 years. So, and then I started doing TV. Started in the morning first, and then moved to the evening, and then in this latest one, went back to the morning, and it's all worked out really well.
Yeah, I always, I disappeared for I took that job with Quicksilver, so I disappeared for 18 years, right? And I came back, and then every night I could just see you on TV, and I was laughing, right? And I didn't know we live in the same street. And then on the other side, by this time, social media is emerging, and then every single time, dude, when you miss a forecast, the whole surf industry just use you like a little piñata that was banging on. And I go, dude, that's Guy Hagi.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that to that man?
Well, that's gonna be our next.
I mean, I love this guy. I mean, it's like
That's gonna be our next topic.
No, but see, the thing that's really cute about that, because my circle of friends and family, they have that reaction. I don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm fine with that because I understand that. I understand the whole thing. I understand people being upset, but I also understand that. Number one, my forecast, comes from the National Weather Service.
Yeah.
I'm the communication guys for them, basically. Yeah, I'm the de facto mouthpiece for the National Weather Service, who doesn't have a audible thing, right? They do all online, right? So I represent their forecast. I don't make the forecast. Also, I know that the science of weather and forecasting is not 100% and will never be 100% guaranteed. That's impossible. I know that. The general public does not know that. People that are smart know that. So when somebody gets on me going, you said it was going to rain, it didn't going to rain, you're wrong. And I go, okay, I understand where you are, but let me tell you, and it's not worth a fight, right? I'm like, you just got to understand, you didn't learn that lesson in school, that the earth sciences are still emerging. We're still learning about weather forecasting. We're still learning about, I can ask the guy, can you predict an earthquake? Is it possible to predict an earthquake? They go, no. How come you can understand that, but you can't understand why we can't predict weather, right? It's the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's enough for a shift of winds and the whole thing.
It's the exact
It's
same
like
thing.
God. It's like
No,
nature. How can you predict that?
Yeah. Well, okay.
Do 100%. Right?
So for people that can understand football, and a football forecast. You take the best guy in Vegas, okay, and you tell him you predict 10 games, right? What's your percentage going to be? Are you going to be 100%?
Never.
He's going to go, no. Okay, why aren't you going to be 100% if you know all about the teams? Well, why not? Because there is the guy's mood. What about the guy's social life? What about the guy's injuries? What about the turf on the field? What about the wind? All those things can play into how many points the guys are going to score. It's the exact same thing with us in weather. There's so many factors. Like we get, it's like, and now the neat thing. Have you watched The Queen's Gambit yet on Netflix?
Oh yes, it's so good.
Okay, so to give you a chess analogy,
you gotta go watch that. It's so good.
To give you a chess analogy on thing. Okay, say if one guy who's really good is playing a guy that's not good, right? With that guy, this guy can know that guy's going to move here, not going to move here, right? And he's going to win 99% of the time, right? But sometimes the thing changes. That guy gets better against the grandmaster, right? And then he has a less of an idea on what's going to move and what's going to move. He's still going to win, but sometimes maybe a little bit less because he's unsure of what that guy's going to do. So sometimes we're playing against a lousy guy, and sometimes the weather is real easy to predict, and we know how we're going to win. Sometimes the weather is complicated and we don't know what that opponent's going to do. And as the grandmaster, we still try to predict. We might not win every time because, the thing gets to be a little bit more unpredictable. And that's how it is with weather. We're still learning out more, and our weather forecasts are getting better every year. But that being said, it's still an earth science that's really, not going to be 100%. I don't think ever.
I wanted to ask you, what do you have to say to those people that say da 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 da, and then bam, you went on a rant. So
A rant.
This is what he tells. This is what he has to say to all those memes.
Yeah, but you know what, Jonathan? I love the memes.
No, me too.
I love the creativity. I love the
100%.
attention.
You are loved. Period.
I'm humbled. That,
you are loved.
Because there was another weather forecaster, and there was a meme for him going, I'm da da da. I do the weather too, You can make some memes about me. But I mean, it's all flattering. It's all love. I love all. The only thing about these memes is, for a lot of them, I can't show them on air because of the profanity, which is hilarious. The profanity is what makes them funny, but I can't put that on the air.
We can.
It's a family. It's a family show.
One of the nicest ones that I really really liked is, all you fuckers talking shit. Hope your roofs fly off.
And again, that doesn't represent me really, but you gotta say these guys have a lot of creativity. And they're very, very good humor-wise.
Time to buy water. Love it. I promise this one going to hit, bro.
See, I love all those, and the thing is that it's because, like, you know me, right?
Yeah.
Those guys don't know me.
Right.
They see me as this character.
Right.
So it's separate from me.
Right.
So when I see those, it's separate from me, and
Yeah.
I don't take any of them personally. I just think it's just nothing but love for people that produce those.
100%. There's not even one person that did that doesn't have sincere love for you.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why people do it.
Yeah. Well,
100%. No?
I agree. It's so funny because I'm listening to Guy now, and I'm reflect back when when we were younger. Right, it's like you listen to GQ, right? Hey, Joe Typo, comes on. It was you, Joe Typo, and one other guy, and that's about it. And that's how we figure out what we're gonna go surf. These days, you got like everything. You can see the camera, all that, and yet, we're not really truly, almost like full of gratitude of what you give out to the world. It's incredible.
Well, here's the thing: in our lifetime, Jonathan, in our lifetime, we've seen the advent of very, very accurate wave reports. Wave forecast.
Yeah.
When we were growing up, Dewey and I, we get up in the morning, we pack it in at dark, and we head to the beach at dark, waiting for the sun to figure out if it's going to be good or not. We had no clue. We had no freaking clue. But now, because of one guy in particular, he's died, and I knew him.
Collins.
Sean Collins.
Yeah.
In fact, I worked for Sean Collins doing the Hawaii Surf Report for him when he started doing Surfline's connection into Hawaii.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, we were his surf reporters,
didn't
not
know
his
that.
forecasters,
Yeah.
his reporters.
Yeah.
So in my lifetime, we have figured out, and now guys take it for granted. They go to the computer
I
going,
know.
on Wednesday at 2 o'clock, I'm going to go out. And there's a very good chance that it's going to show up.
Yeah.
They still miss it too.
Yeah.
Because it's weather.
Yeah.
But there's a high likelihood of getting much better surf now than there used to be.
100%. I mean,
Yeah.
Luke and Leah now, come on, your two daughters too. I mean, they grow up with this thing now in 2 seconds. I'm not going to go. Before, we used to wait. And that was the beauty of being the now and the journey as a surfer back in the day. It was all that. It was like, me and you would drive to Miley Point. We show up, we were waiting till it comes on, and we go, fuck, we should never done it. It's the same stuff.
That was a good day, though, dude. That was big, man.
I know. It was like, I don't know, man. Yeah. Now I just ride a 9L. I used to ride a shortboard. I don't know how you do it.
Dewey, 5'10".
I know.
5'10" yesterday. Not as good though, still, but just trying to stay up and keep up. I surf Alamona Bowl, which is probably the most competitive spot on the South Shore, right?
100%.
But I get charity now out there.
Yeah, because your name's the Guy Hagi.
It's nice. It's because I put in 30 years. Out
Yeah,
there.
that's true.
Yeah.
You're right.
But also, I gotta keep on paddling because the charity wouldn't come if I couldn't catch the wave in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to see out there, and there's a nice crew out there for me. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's a nice crew for you, for sure.
No.
Not for everybody.
Now, Rylan and I, we just go next door. We go to rock piles.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I didn't say that.
That is clean. That is good. Cause we're not, we're not Guy Hagi.
Stop.
In a million years, guys, you ever thought that you'd be doing what you're doing now?
No.
Yeah, right. In a million years.
No.
Looking back now, what advice or guidance do you give to young dreamers out there?
So I have 2 fledgling adults, right? One 18, one 17, and I just try to, make their path easy, but they don't take advice all that well from being a parent. I guess they don't. That's not one of the things that they sit up and listen to. But
It's true.
The thing is, just try to pay attention to the smart people and notice and recognize the smart people, the compassionate people around you. There are wonderful people walking just right next to you that you often turn a blind eye to, that you miss the lesson that's in front of you.
Yeah.
It's obvious to listen to guys like Jerry Lopez, who cut his teeth and who really earned that status. Now, every word out of Jerry is gold now.
That's true.
Right?
100%.
But that's the obvious one, right?
Yeah.
There are Jerrys all around the world, right? In this entire planet, walking around with the compassion that he has, with the knowledge that he has. But it's up to them at their young age being bombarded by social media messages, and the world is going so fast that it's hard for them to stop and listen to a message. Even if it's a lesson from, somebody that they're seeing, just a bank teller or the guy at ABC ringing them up. Those little interactions, and really try to listen. I think that's the bigger thing, and we try to have them, do the right thing for society. Don't be so selfish. Don't ruin the planet. Those kind of things, and do what your heart says is right. But if you listen to the smart people, that's why I always make a joke on TV when we talk about kids that are doing these incredible things, graduating college at 12, finding out new ways to deal with health things or whatever great things kids are doing. I want my kids to hang around those kids.
Yeah.
Right? Because I remember my dad looking at one of the kids I was hanging around saying, "Hey, no hang around him. He going to jail."
And sure enough.
So sure enough, in fact, even worse. But that's the kind of stuff I hope I can guide my kids towards, and I can, hope to tell. So when I do career talks to kids in school, I always tell them, listen to your parents, be thankful for your parents, and listen to them because they've been where you are. And I think that's the thing that kids don't understand, that we were young once. We know exactly what they're going through, but it's hard for them to just go, yeah.
Sorry, Johnny, one more question.
Yeah, go ahead. The more the merrier. The more the merrier.
Because I'm so fascinated because, you two have two beautiful daughters, and they're preteens, right? They're not teenager yet. I want to know from Guy, though, because my children are older, guys, so it's like, how do you manage and coach and guide, and what's it like in the household? Because, Luke and Leah, they're in their prime age where social media is everything. And how do you help coach Guy and manage that from you and Kim of a parent perspective?
It's a tough one.
Yeah, what's healthy, what's not healthy, and how do you do it? I'm really curious.
I just take it, one day at a time. I don't have a big concept of how to raise kids, right? I just take the lessons that I learned from my parents and the other parents that I see, the mistakes that I've seen being made. I mean, God knows we made our mistakes as well, but you just try to just lead by example as much as possible. My kids have led a very jaded lifestyle. They've been fortunate, especially when you consider the harshness and the cruelty of the world today.
Yeah.
I mean, think about, you contrast what happens to a kid growing up here as opposed to growing up in Bangladesh or Mumbai or Nairobi or someplace without fresh water even. Something as basic as that. And our kids are worried about, well, what college am I going to?
Yeah.
So you hope that they will have the humbleness to make decisions, that'll make the world a better place. But really, Dewey, I don't know. I can't write it down for you. I really rely on a great wife. who has a bigger, more long-term vision than me. I mean, I have a hard time looking in front of my truck. You know what I mean?
I remember I came home and we met, and I saw Kim, and I go, "How the fuck do you score Kim?" I go, "I know Guy Hagi. There's no way." She's like a brilliant, beautiful.
I know both of you are very involved in a lot of nonprofits and always trying to push. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, for Kim, and this is seeing, I think.
By the way, Kim is your sweetheart from back in the day.
Sure,
16 years old, yeah.
Sure.
No.
Kim Janala. We met way after that.
Oh.
So Kim was born and raised on the mainland. Graduated from University of Texas, Hook'em Horns, and she moved here soon after that, and started doing weather, which is funny.
No way.
Wow, I didn't know that.
She was on TV way before me.
Yeah.
So she was on TV doing weather, and then she had started to transition from weather into starting to anchor. So, and then we met while she was doing weather at night. I was doing weather in the morning, and we started dating. But we were on separate stations. So anyway, and then I left my station to work with her. She recruited me. She got me working at her station. So all of a sudden, she was the anchor and I was the weatherman. So like today, I'm still subordinate to her. Like today. But she has had a long Emmy Award-winning career as a broadcast journalist, right? Reporter. She's gone on a couple of voyages on the Hokulea.
Wow.
She's hardcore, man. She was in the Hokulea in the wintertime in the Alaskan waters.
Wow.
Sleeping in the freaking voyage. That's hardcore, man. She's good friends with Naino Thompson. Been down to Tahiti with him, to Easter Island.
Wow.
Doing that. She's done stories on Kaho'olawe. She's done stories on whales. Incredible journalistic career. But because she was a mom, and she knew that she couldn't sustain. We were finishing work at 11. Babysitters were watching our kids. But they got to about 4 years old. Aluk got to 4 years old, and Kim said, this is not going to happen. This is not working. Soon enough, we're going to have more influence on the kids, on their education. So I'm going to quit. Okay.
Wow.
She's already well, she's peaked in her career. She's the number one Wahine anchor, and she quits to go work for Kapiolani.
I love her.
Yeah, she goes to work for Kapiolani. Why? Because she saw the big picture of the influence on the kids, right, and their welfare. Never mind her. So to change horses midstream, mid-career, in your middle age, that's gnarly, right? Think about that. And to be successful. So she worked for Kapiolani, right? Raising funds for that hospital and the new wing that has since been built, thanks in part to her efforts, right? And then she was there. Then while she was there, Aloha United Way comes knocking and goes, can you be our CEO? The Aloha United Way, the ultimate in nonprofit, giving back to the community. So she went to there. It was a failing agency at the time. It was about to go under.
Wow.
And with the help of a lot of really good people, local bank CEOs, company CEOs, helping her along, they resurrected that organization, and it's thriving today. And then from there, she went to, so she was there at Aloha United Way, and then Iolani comes knocking. Well, we know, and our kid has been there already in a year. So the school comes knocking and goes, hey, we could need some help for our side too. Maybe you could come here. And Kim's going, I got a lot on my plate at Aloha United Way. I don't think it's the time. It's really good. I'd love to be on campus with my kid. That would be awesome.
Does it mean they don't pay?
Well, not yet. Yeah, that's one of the incentives is one kid. Whether it's the janitor, the science teacher, or the administrator. You get one, and that's fair for all the private schools, I think. So that was one of the incentives. But they kept on throwing stuff at her, going, "You gotta come, and she was really torn. But I think the commitment to the kids and knowing that Aaliyah would be there as well. And she could be there and guide them and be involved in education. And I tell you, she has the most joy seeing the kids on campus and being with them and stuff. And they're doing some wonderful things as well, which goes back to the greater community that school is giving back to. So she's been amazing with the family and with the kids and their success as well. And in addition to the nonprofits that she's involved with, which is Assistance Dogs of Hawaii. I helped the Ronald McDonald House. I mean, we do a lot of stuff, but it's in, what is it with, what's that line from Spider-Man? With great power comes great responsibility. So not that we have great power, but we have some kind of identity, right? So if we can help somehow. And she is very good at fundraising. If you've ever seen her in action at an auction for the assistance dogs or anything, yeah.
Wow, I don't know, man. All I know is I would disappear for almost 20 years. I came home, and I ran into you, and I go, hey, we're gonna launch Kekoa, and first thing you said to me, hey, listen, just come on the show, right? And let's just talk story. And we get on the show, and I remember vividly, Aubrey and I sitting there, and he gave me two advice. And the advice that stuck to my head goes, look, whatever you say now, you can't take it back, right? You go,
even more so
lie, whatever you say now, and I thought it was so powerful because here you are, right? You're about to say something in TV for the rest of the world, and you own a brand and all that, and it was like, oh wow, whatever you said now would live forever in this media world. And I took that to heart, Guy. Like I took it back. And what I love is like 20 years later, you and I haven't seen each other, and you took such a big role and big pride to be a community man. And that's how I go, wow. I mean, you really did. I mean, from Poncho, you name it. Everybody in the surf industry, because that's where your roots are, and you're so willing to use your format. Remember, what comes power, great responsibility. And you live your words.
Yeah.
And I was at the moment, and I left that place, and Aubrey doesn't know much about the history of Raleigh, and I left that place, I go, wow. You are meant to be this place in time.
Yeah,
Because what you give to community is priceless, Guy. I don't want to.
I think you mentioned it before. You lead by example.
Yeah.
You're always nice to everyone, and that goes a long way. I think he probably throws the most shakas.
Right, every time I see him in the street, he's honking in his white little pickup truck.
But here's the thing now, Jonathan. Like in my role, and I think everybody who's visible, you cannot show a negative side. I think that's bad. I think it's bad. I think whatever you got to do, you got to really try to keep it under control, right? Because if you lost control, you lost whatever conflict there was, right? You lost it already. So, like if somebody cuts me off in traffic, I'm not allowed to get mad. I'm not allowed to get mad. I get mad like anybody else. But I got to make sure that visibly people will see, oh, no worries, I'm okay. Okay, because it's worse if it's always amplified, right? My reaction to everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so I have to watch out when I'm out in public having a good time in a social affair, because just because of the way social media is now, if I had one drink, I was falling down drunk, right? And if I was a little buzzed, man, guy was wasted, he was throwing up, and that's not but that's just how it is. That's how the rumor mill happens.
Right.
So to that end, if somebody cuts me off in traffic, if somebody does something, I'm like, hey, no worries, man, no worries. So like, especially in surf now, when I'm surfing and somebody drops in, I try to catch up and go, just go, just keep on going. I mean, it's...
But deep inside of you...
No, wait.
We don't really care. At our age, we'll be stoked.
It depends now, right? Because if it's a dangerous situation, then you got to have a serious talk. And not about flexing, just that was a dangerous thing to do, right?
Yeah.
And you can't get mad. I mean, I'm beyond that already, right?
Yeah,
Dewey, we're beyond that. But it's more like if it's 2 to 3 feet and the guy's trying hard to drop in, I'm like encouraging him.
Yeah.
Let's go, come on. I'm going to follow you, but I want you to enjoy it as well, right? I mean, we're out there to have fun. Like the wisdom from our idol, our mutual idol, Jerry Lopez, is the famous quote is, and it should be on a T-shirt somewhere.
Yes.
The best surfer is the guy having the most fun. Not the guy with the most skill, not the guy that turns the hardest, not the guy that catches the most wave, the guy that has the most fun. Because when you are done, when you're done surfing, when you're done from your session that day, when you're done from surfing for the rest of your life, what are you left with but the memories? And the memory can't be that I beat somebody out or I was the biggest, fastest guy. The memory is I had the best time.
Yeah.
And if everybody is having a good time, like that other old adage is, can tell you my old age, I like to use cliches. The rising tide lifts all boats, right? If everybody happy, everybody going to be. Maybe that's Buddhist or Zen or something.
I don't know, but I like it though. Whatever it is, I love it.
Yeah, rising tide raises all boats. Yeah. I mean, if you get one negative guy in your party, like that guy brings down the energy, right?
Yeah.
So you want to lift up his energy. You want to make that guy feel better. That's our nature, right? So that's kind of maybe how I look at things nowadays.
I give him a hug.
Yeah.
Every time I see somebody's grumpy, I just give them a hug.
Yeah.
And
So
they
that's
don't know
why
what to do. They
so
don't
that's
know
why-
what to do.
Yeah, we also have another mutual friend that we hold in high regard, and I don't know how he does it. What kind of coffee does George Cam drink?
He does not drink any coffee.
I know he don't drink any coffee.
Doesn't drink
any
cuss.
alcohol. But he wakes up in the morning on.
Yeah.
He
On
is
fire.
on. He's like Magic Johnson in the finals, and he would love that analogy, by the way. Being a diehard Magic guy, George Cam is the ultimate right now. A definition of aloha, okay? Yeah. I mean, George. I mean, George is the guy, and he tries to influence everybody around him, and that's kind of the guy that I try to model some of my behavior as well. And I'm glad because Luke, who worked at Quicksilver, has had very close interactions with George as well, so he knows and he tries to live on that as well. Although at 18 years old, sometimes gets off the path a little bit.
But that's normal. We were 18.
Of course it's
yeah.
normal.
But the deep seed is in Luke. It's a matter of time. And having you as a father and Kim, you're good. You're good.
Kind of funny for those kids to have me. It's kind of like a cartoon character being your father sometimes.
Yeah.
Because they know how to separate it as well. Like when I'm at home, and then when we go to a surf event.
Yeah.
And they go, God, and they don't want to even stand close to me. Like, people are going to talk to you. Just go over there. Just go beat it. Like, I don't care that you're talking to, I don't care that you're talking to Kelly Slater. You just go over there. I don't care. You know what I mean?
Well, everybody wants to talk to you. It is what it is.
But it's funny now because Luke is very nonchalant. He's nonplussed by any superstars of the surf industry. There's nobody that he's impressed by. My daughter, on the other hand, she's like starstruck at every turn. Starstruck at every turn. Like we had a party, George had a party at Board Riders a while ago. Was the anniversary when everybody came at Beach Walk.
Yep.
So she had to meet Kanoa Igarashi.
Wow.
Dad, come on, All right. Kanoa, can you go? Kanoa, okay. Can you meet Aaliyah? And she's like, like a little starstruck kid. Can I meet Koa Rothman? Can I meet Koa? And Koa's been really funny during this whole thing when she's got the groupie thing going on. Yeah, so it's been really nice. So it's funny that she'll mock me, but then she'll use me to get to meet the people that she wants to meet.
Well, I think nowadays surfers are bigger than they were ever. They're really stars. Some of them have channels. They do, they're way more involved in the community.
And what's funny is, Jonathan, how really small that syndicate is, right? So it's humbling for me, and it's kind of out of body to look at it, to look at a surf ad or to look at a surf magazine or to watch video and goes, I know that guy. That's a friend of mine.
Yeah.
You see that board, that classic board that guy's riding at Jerry? I know that guy that made that. I know the guy that glassed that board. You know the guy that started Hurley? I surf with him. I know that guy. You know the head of Rip Curl? I know that guy. I work. You know what I mean? It's really a small kind of thing, and it's not to be to beat my own chest, but that's how it is for a lot of people here in my generation, right? That the circle is really small. So when I go to the surf competition, I not only know the guy there. I know the guy's dad. It's pretty trippy, man. It's pretty trippy.
I know. I mean, no one remembers like Sandy was the spot. That was the biggest prize tournament ever. Gotcha came to town. Sandy was the happening.
Right.
Back in the early days. Right.
I used to
Crazy.
drive. I would have to drive Tom Kern and Robert Bartholomew to the contest. Because and Luke Egan, who's the coach for Joel Parkinson.
Yeah,
Luke would stay at my house.
Yeah,
but that's how small it used to be, right? Town and Country had one store, Locomotion had one store, but the Gotcha Pro. Were you here during that? It was crazy.
Yeah,
think about the biggest surf contest ever. It would be bigger. It was at Sandy Beach. It was the bikini contest, a bikini contest. It was obviously not right for the times now.
Yeah.
But the best of the best guys were out surfing Sandy Beach, of all places, one of the most challenging, hardest, ugliest waves. Yeah, well, you said it, not me. You said it. But Derek Cole was out there. Derek Odwin, Tom Curran, Barton Lynch, all those guys would come and surf. So it's funny to see all these guys on the WSL channel now going, not only do I know you, Kaipo, I know your dad. You know what I mean? Dave Kalama, I know Dave Kalama from when he first started towing in. You know what I mean? It's all that. Barton Lynch, all these guys. So it's really humbling when you look at it now.
You never live on the mainland? You always lived in...
Always lived here, born and raised here. But during the surf career, traveled to the mainland a lot.
But never lived there?
Never lived there, no. Traveled to and then because my other passion aside from surfing, the other physical pursuit is snowboarding. We snowboarded a bunch of places on the mainland as well. Yeah.
You good at snowboarding?
Everybody that surfs and snowboards, you're a better snowboarder than you are a surfer, if you spend enough time doing it.
Yeah, it's super easy because the waves. It's a matter of how many times you get up the same slope and perfect your turn. Waves are moving and changing, so it's much harder. I'm curious, how do you stay humble What is it that you do on a regular basis, or some of the philosophy that keep you so grounded?
I don't think there's a philosophy as much as there are 2 kids and a wife. I don't get the attention you guys are showing me. I don't get none of this. Okay, I go to work. We have thousands of people watching. Right, I don't see them. Right, I see 1 anchor. I see 2 techs. And that's it.
Yeah.
Right? I don't see anybody. I don't get feedback. I don't see people going, oh, it's got, no, I don't get any of that. I come home, it's like, what's for dinner? Can you fold the laundry? The dog's got to be fed. So it's the same stuff.
Yeah.
So I take that, and when I go out to City Mill or when I go to Macy's or when I go whatever, and somebody goes, hey, Guy, I go, yeah, how's it? I just washed the clothes. I just washed my truck. You know, I just had to clean up the dog poop in the yard. That's what keeps you humble, Dewey. You know, I'm not wearing I wear a suit for 4 hours a day what nobody else sees. You know, I come out, I put on the...
Is it true? I know there was one picture. I don't know if it's true or false, if it's maybe fake news, but there's a picture of you having the board shorts on and the top is button-down shirt and blazer and tie.
I don't know. On a day-to-day basis, no. Some people can do that if they.
But
sit
was
at
it
the
a real picture?
Yeah, for that day I did do it like
day.
that. For that day I did do it. But that's just to emphasize that I was good, that the surf was really good. I did it for dramatic effect.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but day-to-day basis, the studio's cold. It's in the upper 60s. So 4 o'clock in the morning when I come in, you know, I'm wearing that suit. I put on a suit. Yeah. I don't leave I bring a suit to work. I put it on. I take the suit off. And I leave the building. I don't walk around Honolulu with a suit. You'll never see me with a suit in Honolulu, no, or anywhere else, unless it's a formal function. Yeah.
That's insane. Tell us a little bit about Corona time. You know, people are home experiencing tough times. Small businesses, big businesses, people unemployed. What is something that you can tell them? Because you definitely, you know, fought all your life, got to where you are. You know, tell them, give them some hope and give them some words of wisdom.
Well, I know it's extremely hard for some people, right? I mean, unemployed, worrying about where the next meal is coming from. But, you know, every day is only 24 hours, right? Tomorrow's going to be a different day. We're always in a temporary situation. This very moment is temporary, right? Tomorrow, you got the chance to make it better. You have to hold on to that hope. No matter how bleak it is, you have to hold on to that hope. And plus two, at least for us in Hawaii, the people that watch my newscast, look at where we live, right? Don't let that miracle go by without you noticing, understanding, appreciating, treasuring, and savoring. Yeah. Don't let that go by. For some, whatever reason in the world, you ended up here, okay? That alone is enough to celebrate and to be happy about tomorrow. Because even though I know it's tough, and I can't speak to how hard it is, because my heart breaks when we go out and do a live for the food drives, and there are people sitting in line for hours in nice cars who have to stand in line, eat their pride, which is hard, to get this bag of free food to feed their family. Imagine how difficult that is. So my thing is that I don't know if it's in the Bible or whatever, but the words are, "This too shall pass." Okay, 1918 we had the last pandemic. It passed as well. It took a few years. We're better equipped to handle it. Pay attention to the scientists. You can go on and on and on about why we got so bad. Politically, you can point fingers at whoever it is. That's not what it is. What it is
that's irrelevant right now.
What you should be doing is, what can you do to make it better today, and what can you do to make it better for somebody else, namely your family. So in my little way, I try to make things a little bit brighter. The weather report is full of smiles.
100%.
Because I appreciate, and I want people to appreciate where we live and how gorgeous it is, right? And then cheap eats is always positive. It's not a critique. It's never a critique. It's about how you can enjoy food, and food will make you happy. And critique and help little businesses without advertising budgets to get their word out and help them be happy.
So was that your idea, cheap eats?
It wasn't my idea. It was something that was there, right? But that's my philosophy coming in, is helping the little guy to
Yeah.
get better and to help him, especially during these hard times, right? And then with Pacific Pulse, trying to give more people voice to their passion, right? And that's also positive. There's no way you're walking out from Pacific Pulse after seeing it or Cheap Eats and it's hard for you to be negative or
If,
not feel good.
if any business, any restaurant would like you to come to, to check them out with Cheap Eats, what do they need to do? Maybe tell the camera just.
All they got to do is email me. It's cheapeats@hawaiinewsnow.com. It's super easy. Or ghagi@hawaiinews.com. hawaiinewsnow.com, excuse me. And then we look at it. We vet it, though, right? We make sure that a couple of things.
Of course, you cannot go to everyone.
Yeah, we can't go to everyone. There are logistical distance issues because the camera's got to shoot a bunch of other stuff that day. So sadly, some places in the outer reaches we can't get to. But also, the restaurant has got to be pretty good, right? I can't help a restaurant that's not doing a good job.
Yeah,
you know
that
what I
is
mean?
not clean, that is not doing their part of the deal.
Right, because I can't. It's not a critique show,
Yeah.
and I don't want to be apologizing or lying to everybody when I go to this thing and go, man, this is a place you should come to. So that being said, right? So we do our vetting. We look at the Yelp reviews. Not that Yelp is do or die, but we look at Yelp. We look at TripAdvisor. We listen to the reviews and the recommendations that people go. We do a cursory drive-by or whatever, and then we see if it's worthy. But as much as we can, we try to put as many people as we can on.
And your other show, you said the Pulse.
Pacific Pulse,
Pacific Pulse. This is something where you were. Tell us a little bit about that.
So Pacific Pulse, I started that, and it's been running a long time now, 10 years or something. So it's just a little segment that runs on Thursdays and on Friday mornings that gives people a voice, people in the ocean world. We've had surfers, athletes, paddlers, scientists. We've had artists, we've had authors, contest directors. It doesn't matter who it is. If they have something to do with the ocean, we give them a voice, a little bit of a platform to tell them about their events, to tell them about their abilities, to tell them about their all the things that they're passionate about, to help clean up the environment. We've had people from Sustainable Coastlines come on. We've had people from Blue Planet come on. We've had people from Surfrider Foundation come on, as well as some of the top athletes. Kai Lenny was just on.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, we had Keala Kennelly today.
Yeah.
So it feeds my passion, but it also helps everybody else to know about what's going on out in the ocean, something that they're not familiar with, and maybe turn the light on for them. So that's been going now for a bunch of years. So I gotta really thank the Hawaii News Now management for allowing me that platform to do, because 3 minutes on a newscast is not a small thing to give,
Yeah.
And whereas most news stories are a minute 20, they give us 3 minutes for Pacific Pulse. So it's really nice. And it's been years
it's
now.
a life-changing. I mean, I can speak for myself and Aubrey when we got on there, and I didn't realize the effect in the whole community, and everyone, Pacific Pulse. I mean, they just love you, so they follow everywhere else, and it's so. I just love the fact to use your format to elevate others. You're true to your words. You lift in all tides, and that's very rare. And I wish more people out there who has abundance to kind of follow your footsteps, and I appreciate you doing what you do for our community. You sent me a really nice text, and I send you back what I said, dude. I can't believe what you do for our community, and I'm forever in debt. And I mean that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, well, that's nice of you to say from the outside, because I only see, like I said, 5 people a day, and and then whatever, the odd email or something, and people say nice things all the time, but I just try to deal with what's right in front of me.
Yeah.
Like I said, my wife has the bigger vision, but I've been very fortunate to be associated with great people like you, like Craig Sugihara, who's helped me out, Steve Cranston, Jerry Lopez, Jack Shipley. I mean, all these people have been very, very generous with their time as well.
Yeah.
With me, even though they might not realize it, right? We look back at all the mentors that helped us, and I got a tablet full of them, right?
I would like to know what some of the most powerful books that you read that kind of Yeah, I would like to know what some of those powerful books have you read that kind of help shape who you are today.
You
I think for all of us, it's always looking for knowledge.
I don't read that many books that have influenced me like George Cam, those management books, those smart books. But
Yeah.
I can tell you today, and you guys are listening to podcasts now.
Oh, absolutely.
I listen to some really moving podcasts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Name them, please.
So I listen to Radio Lab.
Oh, I love radio.
Yeah, Radio Lab. It helps my intellect to grow. I learn stuff, and I learn stuff about interesting stuff. Like I'm a pretty good Jeopardy player because I know all kind of random facts. So I listen to Radio Lab. I listen to Malcolm Gladwell.
Oh,
It's called Revisionist History. I love
Yeah,
Malcolm
Malcolm,
Gladwell. Really
yeah.
smart journalist out of Canada. Super smart guy.
I read every book he wrote.
Yeah. Now I might be turning some people off, but I listen to Rachel Maddow.
I don't know who that is.
So Rachel Maddow is a MSNBC TV political commentary, right? But she's a Rhodes Scholar, very intelligent, and turns on the light for me. But again, that's polarizing to some extent. But we all have our opinions and our views.
Yeah.
So I listen to that. Joe Rogan has gotten a little too long for me.
Yep.
But I kind of like Joe Rogan's thing for a while. Who else is in there? I listen to Bill Burr for the humor because I can't.
I love Bill.
'cause I
Yeah, Bill
can't-
just came on
Yeah, because
2 days ago.
He was with you guys?
No.
Oh, I was going,
Joe.
what? So Bill Burr, I listen to NPR, which is up first, but that takes my day. That's just a day-to-day thing.
Yeah.
I listen to the Dave Chang show.
Okay.
So he's a restaurateur out
I
of New
love
York.
David Chang. Yeah.
Momofuku.
Ooh,
Okay.
wow. Did you eat that one in Vegas?
Yeah. No, I don't. I haven't been to Vegas since he's opened.
Yeah.
But I've ate Momofuku in New York.
Oh.
Yeah. And Milk Bar. So
Yeah,
Momofuku,
Milk Bar. I tried. Incredible.
And also WSL. I listened to the lineup with Dave Prodan.
Yes.
So that's really good because he's talked to some the top surf personalities and surf stuff. So I listened to that.
And to the Aloha Hour, of course.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Next.
And
We got to earn our way.
Yeah. And
We're
the
not
other
there
one.
yet.
And see, I didn't know about you guys until now. So you'll go into my podcasting. I listened to the stories from 30 for 30,
Okay.
ESPN. That's really good.
Yeah.
And the other guy that's kind of interesting, but he's kind of manic sometimes.
I love those kinds of guys.
Yeah.
That's me.
This guy, Armchair Expert.
Nope.
And that's Dak Shepard,
Dak Shepard. I don't know what that is.
actor.
Oh,
So his wife is Kristen Bell.
come on. Oh.
Yeah. So he's very intelligent, very smart. So anyway, so I like to listen to podcasts that, because my musical stuff is I'm at that age where my daughter's listening to stuff that I don't understand.
Yeah.
And I listen to country because I can understand the words.
You know,
I can't blame you.
Yeah, when you get older, you kind of music almost like become obsolete. Like all we do is read and listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
And like that's the sign of you getting old, Johnny. When you're getting old, you kind of tune down.
Or the music
radio.
of nowadays is just has too much profanity in it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
too.
way too. You know
Yeah.
the last song of what's her face? How it's called? Swamp.
See, you're talking.
Wham.
You're way out of my league.
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
I don't know what the guy. I have no idea what he's
I don't
talking
even
about.
know.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Our
Yeah.
producer knows WAP.
Yeah.
All right,
right.
Guy.
Listen.
What we're gonna do? We have a couple of things planned for you. First of all, a little gift from Hawaiian Aroma Cafe. You have here a little bit of chocolate-covered coffee beans,
Oh, I gotta watch out for that.
and
No
like
sugar, no
crack.
fat. No sugar,
Like
no
crack.
fat. It's all
and
good.
I don't know if you guys know, but today is the first day of Hanukkah, the Jewish holiday.
Happy Hanukkah, Johnny.
So I got together with a good friend, Yudi from Oahu Kosher, and we made you some traditional sufganiyot for you and your family.
Oh my gosh! What an honor!
This is the Jewish malasada. So this is for you and
Wonderful.
your family to
Thank
show
you.
you our appreciation. Thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
and spending your time with us.
That is incredible.
Once again, oahukosher.com. Don't forget, it's Chef Yudi, oahukosher.com. And we have...
Oh my God! What is this?
Yeah.
Is this how? Is
Hey,
this how we
this
celebrate
is how much
Hanukkah?
we love you, dude.
And
That's how much
now
you mean to
we're
the whole
going to
community.
award, as usual, when we bring someone special, we like to award them our Aloha, our Hama Award. This is for you. And last but not least,
Oh my God!
I got more.
we
The
have
best part of the show.
we made some questions for you.
Okay, all right. Here we go. What's this?
Are we
the
ready?
lightning round.
The lightning round. The lightning round. Jeopardy. Here we go.
What would you rather? Have an uncontrollable screaming habit or uncontrollable laughing?
Gotta be laughing.
Yeah.
Gotta be laughing. What would you rather? Wear shorts and slippers in the snow or a snowsuit in Kona?
You know what? I'm fine with the heat in Kona. I did Iron Man twice.
Oh yeah, you're right. We didn't talk about
I
that. Oh my
know.
god.
I can do the
never
heat.
knew.
I can do
never
the-
knew.
I can
Guy.
do
You
the-
never
I can do
told
the
me.
heat.
And Strong Man Okinawa,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I can do the heat, and I've also done shorts and slippers in the snow.
Okay,
Which
well.
is actually okay, but not for an extended amount of time. And then for
That's
everybody,
not healthy.
This is not something that I'm proud of, but it's awesome. Be in the hot tub, get out, roll in the snow, and jump back in the hot tub. You get like needles all over your body.
Oh yeah.
Not the cleanest for the water, not good for the hot tub, but it's an experience. It's good.
Just stay away from the yellow snow.
Yeah.
Number 3. What would you rather? Surf every morning on shitty waves or once a month with perfect conditions?
God, you
Oh,
guys.
that's tough, huh?
Yeah, that's really tough.
Yeah.
At my age,
Yeah.
you know what? Though? I got a wide variation of boards, and I don't think I could go only one day a month. So I could make the most out of lousy waves with a okay board.
All right.
Yeah, I could do that. Although that's hard, man. One day at the ranch, ooh,
I know.
or at
right?
Rincon, or at Uluwatu, or at
I'm thinking Miley Point perfect on a good swell.
oh, there's
All day
so
long.
many, and
Yeah.
so many others that we can't say.
I know.
But yeah, I'd have to go with the lousy waves every day with the right board.
All right. What would you rather? Be a giant goldfish or a tiny whale?
A whale.
Right on. What would you rather? Be invited to every event in town but never find parking, or always find parking but never be invited to events?
Yeah.
I think I know what this is.
I think I'd go for the first one and I'd walk. Now there are a couple of perks to my job, and this is one of them, yeah. And it's due in part to my experience as a surfer. You know all the events we got to go to in Waikiki? You know how much humbug it is to go to an event
Of
at
course.
the Royal or at the Sheraton? But what's really cool is the bellmen, the guys that park your car,
Yeah.
it's my friends in the ocean.
Oh yeah, everybody
You know
surf
everybody
Waikiki.
already.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like I pull up. It's not just the Guy Hagi, the weather guy. That's the guy that I surf with.
Yeah.
So Wendell over there, Rylan over there, Ryan over there, and then we go to the Royal. Same thing.
Todd,
It's like,
yeah.
hey Guy, whatever, man, just leave your car. I got him. And then
I need that connection.
So
Yeah.
and that's even better than than all the other stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Well, thank
It
you.
was a great pleasure.
I'm very humbled, and also, thank you for what you guys do, because just in your day-to-day thing, just the aura of you folks and how you guys carry yourselves, you guys are helping to raise the tide for everybody, especially during these hard times. We need people like you guys, right? Especially with something like this that's very positive. But just know with every interaction that you guys do, you guys are just those kinds of people that help
Thank you for
make
your
Hawaii
kind
Hawaii,
words.
right?
Coming
Listen.
from you, it means a lot.
Yeah, no, you're my inspiration, man. I'm serious. I've gone 20 years and I come back, and you're the same old guy, humble as ever. Still love surfing like a little ground, like we were back in we were in our 20s, And I think what you provide to our Hawaii community is so. Yeah, it just touched my heart, man.
Well,
I
thank
love
you.
you. I love you. I love you. I'm
Well,
going
thank
to continue to confess my love to you, and I thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you. You still got a board bag at my house. You
Nah,
gotta pick
no
up.
need, Rob. We got plenty of
Left a
stuff.
board bag.
Yeah.
He's so
Get out
giving,
here.
this guy.
Yeah, get
I
out.
can't
All
give him
right.
back the stuff.
Thank you,
All
everybody.
right.
It was a great pleasure. Happy Hanukkah. Have a good week. We're out. Thank you, Guy.
All
Aloha.
right.
Thanks, guys.